Hello. What if I told you that by doing a little bit of the upfront work of goal setting, that in the back end, the process itself takes over, requiring less effort on your part to reach that or attain that goal? So I'm going to give you an example a little later on of just how that the process, the little bit of work you do up front, leads to the universe, if you will, pushing forward what you want to achieve, what you've set out as your goal, what you've set out as your steps. A lot of people find goal setting intimidating. They think it requires lots and lots of work and it's difficult to follow and keep track of, and maybe they haven't had success, or the plan was too complicated and they couldn't keep up with it. So I believe you need a simple plan. So over the last 3 videos I've been talking about how to set up and do your goal planning for 2022. It's coming up. If you don't have a plan, nothing can help you move forward. But if you have a plan, then you set a whole process in motion that helps you move towards your goal. Okay, so I have a great example of that coming up, and it happened to me, and it was like something I really wasn't expecting, and boom, 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 things happen. So we'll cover that after in a few minutes. First, if you haven't met me before, my name is Nick Grimshaw. What I do is I teach people seeking to live inspired lives how to use the tools of affirmation, gratitude, mindfulness, and meditation to achieve the life of their dreams. Now, in this episode 22, I believe we're on episode 22 now, we're working on our goal setting, our goal planning strategy number 3, and that's your 2022. So we're going to get into now we're finally getting to writing out what it is that you want to achieve in 2022. So I've been talking about this all the way through, and if you want to go back and look at those other episodes, I've included the links in the show notes below. So be sure to check out the show notes. There's a lot of information there, a lot of links, ways to connect with me, all of those things. So make sure you look at those show notes, and you can go back and look at the first 2 episodes if you missed them. And I really recommend you do look at them and read them so that you can be mentally prepared to write out your goals for 2022. And that was the initial purpose of the first 2 blog posts and videos, was to get you set up mentally to work on your goals. So what we've been stressing through all of this is that we're looking for 2, maybe 3 at the most. Right now, I really recommend you focus on only 2 goals. Now, you'll notice that a lot of experts recommend 10 goals or 6 goals or 8 goals. That's way too many goals, because you're going to divide your attention in too many directions, and you're going to come off the rails pretty quickly. It's another reason why New Year's resolutions often don't work. You make too many of them, and you lose track of them, or you have no idea how you're going to keep all those balls in the air. So really, if this is your first time at goal setting, stick to just 2 really big goals, and they have to be big goals, and we'll go over that in a minute. But that's what you're aiming for, is big goals. Now, this year I took a course from Tanya Eliza, probably one of the best courses I've ever taken online. She's an excellent instructor. And one of the things that she said as she led us through the program, the course that we were taking, and almost every video and every lesson, perfect is the enemy of done. Perfect is the enemy of done. Get it done. Don't worry about it being perfect. If you spend all your time trying to get it perfect, getting everything all just perfect, you will never get a plan written for 2022. And you won't act on it because it's not perfect. So at this point, before you start writing, ditch this idea that it has to be perfect. If you're a perfectionist, take a deep, deep breath in. Let it out, let it go, let that perfectionist drive, let it escape you for the moment, at least while you're doing this goal. It doesn't have to be perfect. Done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. Okay? So, 2 big goals. They have to be big to you personally. It doesn't matter whether your friends think that's a puny goal or it's a stupid, unachievable goal. What matters is that it's something that you're going to have to stretch and reach for, and it should be like just above the ends of your fingertips. You can't quite reach it. Because in this year, when I talked in the last episode of Breaking the Template, we're not going to focus on numbers or on specific targets. We're aiming for growth and learning this year. So that doesn't necessarily mean that if we don't hit our goal that we failed. No, the measure is how much growth and how much learning did we take in 2022, whether or not we made that goal. So we're not holding the goal out as a judgment, as a failure. It's something that you can fail if you don't achieve it. We want to take that off the plate right now. That goal, those 2 goals that you're setting, and I suggest one personal and one sort of professional oriented. Those 2 goals are all you're focused on this year, and their goals are to make you stretch, to make you reach for them. And there isn't any chance that you will fail, because that's not the purpose of the goals. The goals are to give you learning and growth this year. Okay. So I'm going to give you here, let me see, I have somewhere here, and I want to make sure that I give that to you because I wrote it down, one of my personal goals. Okay, just to give you an example of this is a big goal for me, and maybe give you an idea of how to write that goal that you want to achieve in your 2022. To become a better human being, friend, teacher, and coach by investing heavily in deepening my understanding of affirmations, gratitude, manifestation, mindfulness, and meditation. Okay? The 4 areas that I focus and teach in, I want to deepen and heavily invest in. The purpose is to help others, as well as myself, on our spiritual and personal journeys. Okay? So that's one of my big goals. Now, what we want to do from that big goal is where do you start? Where do you begin? Well, the idea is to get an intermediate goal, something that will move you closer to that big goal. We're still talking about goals at this point, not our steps or our targets to get there. We're talking about now an intermediate goal. So my intermediate goal from this was that I wanted to get more out of what I'm reading. And let me explain a little bit about that. I had a target, I talked about this in another video, I had a target to read 50 books. But as we're doing our closing out of 2021, I realized it was a terrible thing to aim for. That it didn't really do what I'm looking for to do, which is deepen my learning and understanding in those 4 areas. So what I want to do is my beginning, or my first chunk of that big goal is I want to get more out of the books I'm reading. So I'm not actually going to aim for a number this year. I'm going to aim instead for a deeper dive into the books I read. Okay. So that, and now you have the intermediate, you have the big goal, you have the intermediate, which doesn't seem as huge. You can take a breath and you can go, okay, I think I can do this. Okay, what are my steps that I need to achieve that? And then we set out to set up some goals. Now I'm going to go back to that in a minute because I want to show you how the process takes over when you do a little bit of this work. But before we do then, there's a method I want to use, and let me find my notes again. Sorry about this. So once you've written your big goal, or your 2 big goals, there's a test to see if they really fulfill all the things that you need within you for well-being. So there is a formula to well-being, and it has 5 corners. So I want you to stop, look at your goal, and then ask yourself these questions. Number 1, does it engender positive emotions in me? So by working on that goal, are you going to feel joy, happiness, gratitude, appreciation, love, all those higher level positive emotions? Does that goal inspire those things within you? If it does, you just tick it off. Okay, we're okay on that one. If it doesn't, then we need to go back and look at it and rework it so that you can feel that positive energy and the positive emotions that come out of pursuing that goal. Okay, the next one is, will it engage me? Is it engaging? And that's sort of where your motivation comes in. Does it excite me? Does it appeal to me? Is it something that I'm going to be willing to sink my teeth in and work on throughout the year? Tick it if it does. If it engages you, great. If it doesn't, again, let's go back and review, reword, and rework it. Number 3 is, does it offer me the opportunity to create or to increase positive relationships with others? So we don't want to be working in isolation. We're working in our community, in our family, in our logical family, if you will, in our community. What does this give me an opportunity to create more positive relationships or deepen the relationships, the positive relationships I already have? Is that going to be fulfilled by this goal? Again, if it is, check mark. Does the goal give me meaning or serve my purpose, if you know your purpose? Or does it give me a sense of purpose and meaning in the world? It's very important for our well-being, happiness, joy, bliss, all those things, that what we're working on gives you a deep sense of meaning. So again, tick if this goal that you've created does that, that is awesome. If it doesn't, don't worry, go back and rework it. You don't have to change it completely. You just need to work in so that by working on this goal, you are going to feel a sense of purpose and meaning. Okay? And the final check is, will achieving this goal, or getting close to this goal, give me a sense of accomplishment? And again, we're now going back to our template. Sorry about the noise there. Our template, going back to our template on changing up. Instead of using quantifiable goals, like I want to do 50 books, I want to reach $50,000, I want a 6-figure income for my business. No. We're looking at something that's more learning and growth based. That's our template for this year, learning and growth based. We want to expand as a human being. We want to grow as a human being. So does that goal give you a sense of accomplishment? Even if you don't hit the goal totally, but you get close. Say you get close. Does that mean you failed? No, it doesn't mean you failed. It means you've been incredibly successful, because remember that you are, if you follow through and do the process, even if you just write down a couple of goals and you don't even think about them anymore, you've done more than probably 90% of the people on this planet for 2022. So just starting the process, playing with the process. Don't get hung up on results. Don't get attached to results. Be attached to feeling the growth and the learning that comes from pursuing the goal. Okay, so use that. It's called PERMA. It's from a book, and I think the book will be in the show notes. It's called Flourish, and it's the components that make up well-being, which includes your happiness, your sense of happiness, purpose, value in life. If you look at those things, you can see how they would make you feel good about yourself, good about your life, and good about the people around you. And that feeling good that you're chasing and pursuing goals that fulfill all those quantities or qualities of PERMA. Okay, so again, you've got your big goal, you've broken it down into a second goal. For me, it was to get more out of what I was reading. And what I put down for my short steps, let's see if I can remember what I put down for my short steps, were, one, I had seen a video from Ryan Holiday, somebody I follow, and he talked about his process of note-taking. I didn't pay a lot of attention when I watched it, and I thought it was pretty complicated, and I wasn't sure how I could use that. So I've put to go back and watch that. Then to also look at the people I follow, some of the people I follow. So Matt Raglan is one of the people I follow. Tanya Eliza is one of the people I follow. Brian Johnson is another person I follow, and there's another person I'm not thinking of right now that I'm also a big fan of. So I'm going to look at the videos and the emails and so on from these people to see if they've covered the topic of how to get more out of what you're reading. Okay. And then I was going to find one of those methods and adopt that method. Then I was going to review that, and then I was going to use that method on the first book I read in 2022. And then I was going to review, reflect, and rewrite, if I needed to, the goals or steps that I had set out to begin with. So this is where the magic happens, because you've done the work. It's not hard work. These things sort of materialize themselves, and this is basically what happened. So I set that down on the article I was writing for this week, and then I've got the article just about set. I've got to do the video, which I'm doing right now. I've got to make sure that I've set up the newsletter that goes with it, that comes out on Mondays. I'm going, okay, so I haven't thought much more about that goal, because I'm intending that goal to be pursued in 2022. I'm going to start out my 2022 doing that, learning how to learn more from what I'm reading. But it didn't happen that way. I was on YouTube. A YouTube came up from Matt Raglan about using Smart Notes. I thought, what the hell are Smart Notes? Boom, hook, line, and sinker into the video. Oh, he's talking about how to get more out of what you read, and how to use all the notes you're making. And one of my biggest struggles is that I write notes all the time, but they're like at my bedside table I have notes, on my computer I have notes, in my journal I have notes, and of course when I go to work with them, they're scattered all over the place, and it's almost impossible to use them. Smart Notes. This is a way to link all your notes together and have them all together, and it's, in this case, an analog process, meaning that you're writing it down physically and doing the process. That leads to several more of Matt's videos. It leads to an interview of the author who wrote the book that Matt recommends, How to Write and Use Smart Notes. That's not the exact wording, but if you go to the blog post or in the show notes, you'll see the link to that book. So what did I do? I got onto Amazon and I ordered the book right away. Then I got onto a stationery company and ordered the tools that Matt recommended, so that I have the tools to start this process. And already, you see, I'm way into working on that first goal of achieving a big goal for 2022. And it happened like magic. I didn't think anything about it, didn't require anything on my part except being aware, right? And the tools doing this automatically calls the universe to your service, right? You're calling the universe to help you, and the universe steps in and it starts feeding you what you need. The trick is to stay aware. Don't say, oh, well, no, I'm not ready for that until next week. I'm not into 2022 yet. If I did that and put it aside, I may have forgotten it completely by the time I got into 2022. So there's an example of process taking over once you do the little bit of upfront work that I've talked about. And it's not onerous. It's not difficult. You're going to focus your attention on two big things that you want to achieve this year. Just two. Don't overwhelm yourself with what a lot of people recommend. I've been listening to a book. I can't remember the author's name. And he's recommending you have 10 goals. Like, how can you do that? Right? I'm going, like, I have trouble with 1 or 2. I don't need to be trying to focus on 10 goals. So stay focused on the big goal, then your intermediate goal that you're going to tackle next, and then your steps, small, tiny, little steps, something that you can do each day that's going to work you towards that intermediate goal. And when you hit that intermediate goal and you're done, now you break out and you go, okay, now what's my next thing I need to do from this big goal? And mine's already come to me. And I already know what it's going to be, so I'm going to write it down, and then I'm going to write the small steps that I need to take to achieve that. And I expect. So live in expectation. Once you've done this, live in expectation that the universe is going to help you do this. You're not going to be alone struggling to do this. All kinds of information, ideas, thoughts, suggestions, books, videos, lectures, podcasts, all of those things will come your way to help you achieve that goal. And before I leave off, the perfect thing is that there is no perfection involved. There's not even a goal target with a specific number involved. So when you're setting those big goals, you want to focus on what you want to grow and learn this year in your personal life and in your professional life. That's it. Remember, done is better than perfect. And that's where I'm going to leave you. I wish you an awesome 2022. I know, I am absolutely certain, if you follow even a little bit of what I've taught over the last 3 videos, you are going to have success in 2022 like you've never had before, because you are bringing the total force of the entire universe to work with you and through you to achieve your big, big goals for this year. And it all goes back, remember, dream big, live inspired. Hi, Nick Gribshaw here, and welcome to our channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, comment, and subscribe. Doing those things really help us track better with YouTube. And if you're interested, click the notification button for notification when we upload a new video. Thank you so much for doing that. Have a good day.